Hey everyone, my name is Resolver, and I word vomit into a microphone for the internet. The Christmas season is over. Just like that, in a blink of an eye, Santa has gone back to the North Pole. He committed home invasion in most homes on Earth, and we let him get away. Your trash man is probably really tired of picking up all your wrapping paper, and the leftovers have gotten stale. I know for one that I'm getting pretty tired of eating holiday Chex Mix. I hope everyone had a good Christmas time, and if you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you had at least a good break from work, or at the very least, some relaxing downtime to recharge and get ready for the new year. I had a couple days off of work. I kind of wish I had more, but you get what you get, and you got to make the best with what you have. We'll get a little time off for New Year's, so I'm looking forward to that for sure. And thinking about New Year's, I've never been one to make a New Year's resolution. Never really have, and if I ever did, I only stuck with it for probably a month or so and probably forgot about it. I'm sure many of you have had a similar experience probably, whether it be getting into shape or finishing a project you've been putting off or starting a new hobby, or maybe you even want to start the motions of starting your own business. I think sometimes many of us can have this yeah right mood to New Year's. Like, yeah right, you're gonna stick to that plan, or yeah right, you're gonna get those six-pack abs. Sometimes this stems over into just goals in general throughout the year, not necessarily a direct cause of New Year's. And so you don't even start to even try to make one. And I get it, life happens, things come up and you get sidetracked and distracted. It's expected, especially in this modern age of distractions, breaking headlines every other day, and your phone constantly begging you to open up TikTok again, or maybe even the constant urge to input your political opinion online in some random comment section. Then check it every other minute to hopefully get that sweet, sweet digital thumbs up so you can feel like you're validated by some sort of random stranger on the internet. It can be tough. However, I've been feeling kind of stale lately and in some sort of rut. I need a goal or something to work towards that isn't just keeping the bills paid and decompressing in my free time. The mind needs something healthy to fixate on. Obsession, albeit healthy obsession, can be a good thing. I'm sure that some of you might feel like most days are kind of the same series of events and responsibilities, the same mundane tasks you must do, and you might just be living life for the weekend, like on many of us, as if the weekend is the only time you have that is fun and enjoyable. I am thankful and happy to take care of the responsibilities I do have, and if the rest of my life is just working and supporting those around me and just chilling out in my free time on the weekend, then I'm at peace with that. That's enough for me, but however, let's be optimistic here for a second. Goals can be fun. Setting a goal and actually accomplishing it can be rewarding. It gives you a sense of healthy pride, if you will, and gives you a sense of control over your life. Like you're not just going through the motions or living day by day, but instead you're, actually accomplishing something outside of your normal day-to-day responsibilities. And so if you're feeling like this, I encourage you to maybe try and make a resolution this upcoming year. Living for the weekend is not a very happy and sustainable way to live life, in my opinion, and you don't need a guy on the internet to tell you that. I'm sure many of you maybe currently are feeling that. There's got to be some sort of hobby, thing, topic, activity, something that you look forward to doing during the work week. And yes, I understand that many of us have responsibilities and might not have much time to pursue something during the week, and that's totally understandable. I'm in the same boat. However, I think if you really sit down and look at your schedule and your time, you can more than likely carve out at least 30 minutes, an hour or two of free time to work on something you've been wanting to work on. Whether it be waking up an hour early during the week to work out and focus on your health. And that might mean going to bed an hour or two early and making some personal sacrifices, replacing some of your evening time with learning a new hobby or reading a series of books you've always dreamt about reading. The point is to sacrifice something in your life in order to chase some sort of goal. And it doesn't have to be some sort of major goal or extravagant rock star dream-like goal. For example, I'm not much of a reader, but I have an urge to get into reading and dive into some good books. I have a lot of friends that read, and I always hear them go on and on about how much fun they have just diving into a story. And so I went out and I bought the first Witcher book. It's called The Witcher: The Last Wish. And so far, I've really been loving reading it. I've been playing the game and having fun, and I think a goal of mine this year is to read all of the Witcher books and play through the Witcher game also and actually complete it. And I'm kind of doing this to prepare myself for the new Witcher game that was recently announced. I want to be all caught up to date and understand the lore and the backstory of the characters and start the new game fresh. I know some of you might be surprised I haven't played through The Witcher given how old it is, but this is another example of one of those games I haven't had the time to complete. I'll carve out maybe 30 minutes in a day and seclude myself and read. I won't read a ton at a time, but I'll read maybe half of a chapter or a chapter at a time, and that's enough for me right now. I just kind of want to start slow. And like I said, New Year's resolutions don't always have to be some grand goal about getting into extreme health or getting into shape. Although getting into shape is for sure a great resolution and would help you accomplish many other goals in life just by the sheer fact of if your body's healthy, then therefore it kind of trickles in and affects your mind. And so anyways, with all that said, this year I have a few things I want to be a part of my New Year's resolution. And so the main kind of goal I have this year with video games is to finally finish and play through several single player games I have in my Steam catalog. There's a lot of games that I have that I only have maybe 1 to 2 to 3 hours played, and then I just never return to. I have several games where I have a save point and it was just never returned to. And you know, it's those games where you get it on a Steam summer sale or a winter sale, and because you couldn't pass up the discount, now they're just sitting there in your library collecting dust. It's like a good story or a book that's just sitting on the shelf waiting to be experienced. Typically, I play a ton of competitive multiplayer shooter games, titles such as Call of Duty, Valorant, Counter-Strike, Overwatch, etc. And recently, I've been having a lot of fun with the new game Marvel Rivals. I love being competitive, and I love the camaraderie and the group of friends and my team, and we can all work together and play these games. Win or lose, it's just always fun to group up with your buds and just try to win these competitive matches. However, now that I'm a little older and don't have as much free time as I once did, I'm starting to look more into single player games and narrative driven experiences. I don't have the time to grind ranked play in many of these titles like I once did, and you know, I can no longer stay up the majority of the night grinding out a battle pass. I own many of these major AAA titles such as God of War, the BioShock games, Fallout series, and many others. I do have Xbox Game Pass also, and I know there's a ton of single player games on there that have really great reviews. I just haven't had the time or the motivation to touch them. I really want to play through the new Indiana Jones game since I've heard great things about it. But, you know, I tried to play a lot of these games, and at the time I just was having too much fun playing multiplayer games with my friends and didn't want to invest in the slow burn of a single player game. I'd play for maybe 20 minutes and get bored and just want to go back to Call of Duty. And, you know, these multiplayer games, like, sometimes I think give you an immediate gratification when you play them. It's kind of like a immediate dopamine rush. Like, in Call of Duty, the big bright numbers and the flashes on my screen when I eliminate someone, those big yellow text that say double XP, and those satisfying hit marker sounds. You know, the little XP bar at the end of the match that shoots up when you rank up. And it kind of resembles like a Vegas slot machine or something like that in a sense. It gives me the same kind of vibe. It can be extremely addictive. You can really get sucked into this grind culture of trying to finish the battle pass and obtain all the unlocks. Not saying that I'm going to quit playing multiplayer games, because of course not. I still very much enjoy that aspect of gaming and always will. Me and my friends will probably be crippled one day trying to win a game of Warzone or a round of Marvel Rivals. But again, since I don't have as much free time as I once did, my skill level in some of these games, as much as it pains me to say, has dwindled. No longer am I the raging Chad in Call of Duty. I don't have the crazy good kill-death ratio anymore, and neither do I have the motivation or time to try to get that back. I would look up so many tips and tricks in some of these games and just really try to be on the cutting edge on my opponent, etc. And so as a result, I'm just having a lot more fun and intrigue experiencing stories and playing through some of these adventures I kind of missed out on, which is why, as part of my New Year's resolution, I'm going to attempt to really sit down and indulge in some of these single player games. The next part I'm about to mention, I'm going to have to complete as a separate and kind of a different goal, and I'll explain why here in a second. It's kind of a part 2 of finishing my back catalog of games. I want to finally play through and finish a Souls game. I'm talking Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Bloodborne, Sekiro or Sekiro, however you say it, and Elden Ring. I actually own several of these games, but just kind of fell into the same pit I did with the rest of my catalog, playing it for a few hours, then quitting and never to return. And I've heard these games can actually benefit your mental quite a bit. And maybe it's because of how rewarding it feels to overcome and accomplish killing a boss or progressing through these games. I always viewed these as kind of like too hard for me or too challenging. I'd never really progress or understand the mechanics of the game. And I would just kind of stop and go back to Call of Duty or other competitive FPS titles. But every time I look at my Steam library, it's like the Souls games are just calling out to me saying, get good. I want to get good, and I think this upcoming year, I'm going to try at least play through Dark Souls 1 or 2, or maybe just a few of these titles alongside all the other single-player games I want to get into. I want to experience overcoming the challenges in some of these games, and that feeling or sigh of relief when a boss is defeated, for example, and not just kind of like mindlessly play Call of Duty. And not only do the Souls games, I think, provide a super challenging and rewarding experience, but also the lore and the world, from what I've heard, is pretty beautiful. These games just kind of look and feel like a classic work of art, and I think it's time that I take that challenge. And again, I'm excluding these games from my other back catalog solely due to how difficult they are for me to play and how challenging they are, because I think to me this will feel like a totally different and separate goal to accomplish. I really like the theme and the vibe of Sekiro or Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. I might start with this, but I've also heard it's kind of one of the most challenging entries in the series, so we'll see. And lastly, to kind of tie into the previous 2 goals, I have one more goal I want to accomplish. I want to start posting more on this YouTube channel and document my journey with some of these games. I'm not too sure what that will look like. I like the idea of writing a little video essay about these games once I have finished them, almost kind of like a book review or movie review, if you will, just with video games. But honestly, I'm not sure, However, I'm sure my constant back and forth and undecisiveness about things will cook up something different and will be ever-changing content, maybe. We'll see. I always kind of enjoyed creating things growing up, like drawing, making crafts, and even playing music and making music with my friends. However, as I've gotten older, it can be hard to find an outlet or to create something new or refreshing and gain inspiration. And I think creating YouTube videos and making content about my hobbies and interests or whatever it may be I feel like talking about gives me kind of a new and fresh outlet to create something. Video games have always been my primary free time hobby, so, why not write about them and share my viewpoints with others? And, better yet, maybe my viewpoints or the things I word vomit about into a mic could help others. Maybe it'll encourage you to do the same thing or inspire you in some sort of way. I don't know, just something about throwing all my thoughts into the void of the internet feels kind of good and refreshing. And so I think I'll continue to make more videos of this type. So with this, be on the lookout for more content and follow me as I dive into some of these titles and word vomit over them for the sake of entertainment. If you've made it this far, thanks for sticking around. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please let me know by liking this video and subscribing, and maybe share it with your friends. It would mean a lot to know that maybe others watch this and have gotten something out of it. Let me know what games you want to play in the comments below. Let me know if I've inspired you to boot up some of those old games you haven't really touched, or maybe there's a new game that you have been thinking about trying. Maybe I've inspired you to try something completely unrelated to gaming. Maybe a new hobby, or inspired you to get fit. just let me know. Thanks for watching and take care, everyone. Have a good one.